Hello everybody and welcome or welcome back to my channel if you are new here. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name's Millie and I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. But honestly it is so much more than that at the minute. There are so many eyeshadow palettes coming out. I am getting very overexcited about all of them because whenever I get an indie eyeshadow palette, I like to create a ton of content around it. I really want to explore these palettes a lot, create a lot of looks for my own benefit as well as for yours, to give you a little bit of inspiration if you have the palette or to help you decide if you want it or not. And in today's video I'm going to be talking you through the Arch of Colour. So I've already got a video swatching this, first impression, getting through all of the colours. Then I did an eyeshadow palette bingo. I actually used this palette a couple of times in my week of colour, which was I think posted a couple of weeks ago now as you're seeing that. I will leave the playlist linked. If you like fun colourful makeup, I did a full week. We posted every single day, there were different prompts. In today's video I'm going to be creating 3 different eyeshadow looks just with the Arch of Colour palette, and I did ask on my monthly favourites if you wanted to see the Arch of Colour and the Pastel Garden separately in 2 separate videos for the 3 looks with series, and you said that you would rather see them separately. So there's going to be a 3 looks with the Pastel Garden coming up soon. We're going to just be talking about the Arch of Colour today, and I have allowed myself, should I want them, a shimmer shade, because the Arch of Colour is an all matte palette. It is obviously a rainbow palette. You have all of the blends, you have every single shade that you could ever need, but this is just a matte palette. So if I want a shimmer, I have allowed myself a shimmer from something else in my collection, but this is look number 1 that I created with the Arch of Colour. I've gone vibrant green and red. It was meant to be orange. It definitely ended up a little bit more red, but I am not mad at that. Then this is look number 2 that I'm going to be showing you through just with the Arch of Colour palette, and then finally look number 3. So these are the 3 looks that I'm going to be talking you through today, and let's just get on into this one, starting with look number 1. Okie doke, so look number 1 with the Arch of Colour. And one thing that I really love about this palette, obviously it's all matte, and for some of these looks I may well introduce other shimmers or other like special shades because this is an all matte palette, but one thing that I love in looks and that this palette can absolutely give me is a load of contrast. So what I'm thinking today is orange and green as like a colour combination, and there is a shimmer that I want to use which is in my little Pastel Roses magnetic palette, and it is this shade here which is called Dragonfly. So this is like a light green, but then when it catches the light it goes almost like a peachy sort of colour. So I want to use that one with the mattes from the Arch of Colour. So let's just go ahead and create the rest of the look with this. Obviously if you only had this you can absolutely create some phenomenal looks, but I'm a magpie and I like shimmer, and I always bought this with the intention of using it with other shades, so with other like special shades, glitters, etc. So let's go in with the Arch of Colour, and yeah, I'm thinking like orange, green. I'm thinking orange on the outer corner, green further in, then maybe green under the eye. I don't know, I haven't thought that far ahead. But let's start with a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into Lava Line, which is this shade here, a little bit deeper, a little bit more of like a burnt orange shade, and I've got that on that fluffy brush. And I'm going to put this on the outer half-ish. I do very much enjoy an orange, so this is going to be quite orange forward. But also, you know what, I enjoy green, so it's going to be quite green forward as well. So I have started to sort of buff out the top edge of that one just with that same Lava Line shade. And then I'm going to go into, I want something a little bit brighter up here. Let's go into Golden Span, which I know is more yellowy, but I feel like it'll keep it nice and bright. A little bit more sort of mustard actually, this shade. So very, very lightly, I'm just going to, again, just using that same brush, tickle, tickle, tickle over the top edge of that, just to brighten it back up a bit. Yes, I'm happy with that amount of the yellow. So I'm just going to take a small fluffy brush and I'm going to go into, oh I can't pick it up, Crimson Crest, the red shade, so the deepest red that's in the palette, and I'm going to use that on the lid just to deepen up right onto the lid. So there is Flame Fold, which is more of a bright red. This one is a little bit more crimson, you could say. It's in the name, you know. I never have any sort of plan. I come on here and I make this up as we go along. It's a team effort, so if it goes wrong, it's your fault as well. I can't take full responsibility for it. Okay, so I put quite a bit of that Crimson Crest shade on, sort of along the lash line a little bit, and blended it into Lava Line. I'm just going to continue with that same smallish brush and go back into Lava Line, which was that first sort of burnt orange shade, and just intensify that within the crease a little bit, but I'm just keeping that quite a lot tighter into the crease. And I will also just ever so slightly tickle that over the edge of the Crimson Crest shade, sort of along the lash line. So I'm sort of doing a C or a backwards C. I can't remember if this camera flips. You know what I mean? This sort of rounded shape here. So here is still blank, here is still sort of empty space, but just buffing a little bit of that out. And then I think we're done with the orangey shades. I definitely want quite a lot of the green. Obviously I want Lime Apex right on the inner corner. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's work up to that. So I have just spent a little bit of time building that up, blending it out. I did add more of that like mustardy yellow shade as well, just to blend out the top edge, and I think I am happy with how this is looking. So I'm putting these brushes down. These will be my like orange brushes, and let's go ahead and pick up this one, more of a flat brush, and I'm going to go into Electric Meadow, which is a very, very bright green, and I'm going to tap that sort of, again, just slightly above the crease on the inner part of the lid. When I start getting overexcited about like colours and blends, I don't have control over my face. I don't know what's happening. I wish I could tell you. I don't know what's happening either. So I have started to tap that Electric Meadow shade up a little bit, but again, I want a nice big fluffy brush, and I want to go into Lemon Lift. So this is more of a brighter lemon. So this that I already have down is definitely more of like a warm mustard. I'm going in with Lemon Lift, which is a brighter, more like neon yellow shade, and I'm just going to use that over the top edge here. And hopefully that will help everything blend across the middle as well. So it's just yellow going into yellow at that point, because obviously like the orange shades and the green shades, they have that yellow element in common. I didn't know how that sentence was going to end as I was saying it then. You know when you can't think of the word, in common. So hopefully this will all blend together nicely, but just adding a nice pop of yellow up above here. I think I need to address this blend a little bit in between the green and the orange. But after that, I think I'm very happy with how this is looking so far. But like I say, I do very, very much enjoy a lot of contrast in my looks, both contrast between bright and lighter shades, contrast between warm and cool, contrast between textures. I love anything like that. I love adding that to any look, so obviously I love it in this as well. There we go. So that's everything like above the crease. I think I'm just going to stick with that same Electric Meadow shade, honestly, because I just absolutely love it. It's so bright. And I'm going to tap that over this sort of empty part of the lid into that sort of C shape that we created with the oranges, and just lightly tap that all over the lid there. So obviously at this point this is just an all matte look, and you could absolutely leave it here. You really could, but I'm going to add a shimmer. I'm going to add that Pastel Roses shimmer over the top because I want to and I can. And I hope that that is okay with you. I am happy. Am I? Yeah, you know what, I think I am. I'm happy with how that's looking. I will just, no more product, but just with this same smaller brush, blend over that edge in between the green and the orange. I do feel like these tones always look like, you know, like a heat map. Like when the police are following a baddie through fields in a helicopter with a, you know what I mean. That's what comes to mind with these tones. Maybe I have been watching too much true crime. But let's go into the Pastel Roses palette that I have. This palette brings me so much joy. I absolutely love it. But the one shade, I'm going to just limit myself to one shade today, is Dragonfly. And it is incredible. It's like green and peach. It's more of like a mint green. But I do believe it will go with these tones, so I'm not going to use any sort of eyeshadow primer or anything to like grip this. Usually I would use something a little bit sticky tacky to help this stick, but I want this to be a little bit more diffused, and I am just going to tap this over the inner part of the lid, basically over that green that we put on the lid. And also a little bit up through the crease, but not too much. That is a very pretty shade. Oh, I love it. I'm just taking sort of a precise fluffy brush with that same Dragonfly shade just to get it a little bit further in, but also this brush is quite fluffy, so I'm hoping it will sort of disperse those glitters outwards a little bit up above the crease. Spread them out a little bit. Yes. Oh, I could just look at shimmery shades all day long. I mean, I love a matte look. I really do. I do love an all matte eyeshadow look, but I need glitter. I am a magpie. I am so just, I'm in need of a glitter at all times. So I actually think I have enough glitter on now. I'm just going to finish blending up above the crease here. I don't want to take over the whole lid. I'm putting the brush down. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to do the rest of my face, and then yeah, I think I want perhaps some more of the greens under the eye, that lime shade right on the inner corner, but I will clean this up, do the rest of my face, and we will be right back. Okay, so that's the rest of the face done, and you join me as I am just adding a little bit more of that Crimson Crest shade just right onto the outer corner on the lid, and just a little bit under the eye, just so that that's sort of rounded out there. And then I do think I want that Electric Meadow, that bright green, I want along the lower lash line as well, but I just want something a little bit deeper on the outer corner. I have gone full glossy skin, full glossy lip. That was the vibe for today. If I'm using an all matte palette, even if I am adding a shimmer, I'm going, I mean, it does not matter what I've got on the eyes, I'm always going full glossy skin. So I've got a glowy blush and a highlight on. Who is mad at that combo? So I'm just concentrating on working this red into the outer corner a little bit. I don't want to take it too far along because I do want that green to be very prominent on the lower lash line, and then obviously Lime Apex right on the inner corner. So I will just go back in with that same sort of flat brush that I was using for Electric Meadow, tap it off, tap it off so that I don't get too much fallout, stick it straight into my retina. Am I actually capable of doing my makeup? Most of the time, no. I try. So I have just very lightly tapped over that red into the green. You know what? This has accidentally gone a little bit festive, hasn't it? I didn't mean it to. That wasn't my plan. It's August. I mean, I'm excited about the colder weather, but Christmas in August is a bit far, even by my standards. So I think I'm going to add just a very small amount of the white Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer just to really make this Lime Apex shade pop. Not that you need it, you definitely don't need it, but I want it. So again, I'm going to do it just a tiny little bit right in there, tap it out with a brush, and then I will go in with Lime Apex right over the top. But I do need to just tap this out. What shall I use? I'll just use that same brush. Tap it out just so that it's nice and smooth. And then Lime Apex over the top. So let's use more of a pencil brush and Lime Apex. I mean, that shade is incredible. Tap it off, tap it onto that nice tacky white primer. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. I do feel like, although I wanted orange and green, I do definitely feel like this has gone more red and green with that Crimson Crest shade. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad, but that just shows that is the point of like playing with the palettes that I have and creating these 3 looks with videos so that I can put together different colour combinations that I wouldn't necessarily put together myself. So I'm going to go ahead and actually use this liquid liner, which is fairly new to me. This is the Made by Mitchell Make and Mark liquid liner in Nebula. This has got like pinky tones and green. It is like a multi-chrome sort of a liquid liner. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do mascara. I have a liner for the waterline as well, which is also a duochrome because why not? This is the Essence Metaglow Duochrome Eye Pencil in Galactic Chrome, which is a little bit green. So I'm going to use that in the lower waterline, a ton of mascara, obviously, and then we're done for look number 1. I do very much like how this has turned out. I just feel so festive. There we go. So just a little bit of mascara. I actually don't think I'm capable. Also, don't look too closely at the wing because I did not do a very good job of creating something even similar. But that is the finished look, the first look with the Arch of Colour palette. Again, I have turned myself into a bird of paradise. I have turned myself into those chewy fruit salad sweets. I've turned myself into a tropical, delicious looking drink. All of the above. I love this colour combination. I love that even though it wasn't necessarily what I planned, because I wanted orange, but then absolutely applied a red. I do still very, very much enjoy how this has turned out. Honestly, I have enjoyed every single look I've done with this palette. That I've put that green right on the inner corner, that Lime Apex shade is just, ugh, delicious. It's so, so good. And I've enjoyed every single look that I've done with this palette that has included that shade. I mean, I don't think I have actually used this palette and not very, very much enjoyed the look, because the blends in this palette are phenomenal. But this is look number 1. And like, yeah, you could absolutely do that just with this palette without that shimmer. You don't need the shimmer. I just want the shimmer. So, what am I going to do for look number 2? I don't know. Answers on a postcard, but you will see that in just a second. Okay, so for look number 2, I'm taking inspiration from my dress, and I want to do like blue and pink. I'm thinking like bubblegum sort of colours. I'm thinking blue further in, going into the pinks, because I think I prefer the darker pinks in this palette, and I'm very, very much drawn to the bright baby blues for something brighter on the inner corner. So we're going to do that. I don't think I'm going to use a shimmer for today's look, because I think I'm going to use the blue liquid liner, the glittery liquid liner from Made by Mitchell. So that will add my little bit of glitter for the look. So I'm going to dip into... What's my plan? I would love to know. I'm going to start with a smaller brush into the pinks for the outer corner. I think I'm going to go into this brightest one here, which is Petal Prism, as my darkest shade, because I don't necessarily want this to be very dark. I want it to be very bright and like bubblegum, a little bit more of the pastel-y shades. So small brush. I already have the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer on, and I've already got the rest of my face done, so we're going to do lots of light layers today so that there isn't any bright pink fallout all over my face. So that is the Petal Prism shade. Ooh. Tapping the brush off, like I say, so there isn't too much fallout. And I think I'm going to do something a little bit more rounded today. But honestly, who knows? Let's wait and see. But definitely I want to use those, like basically the 2 rows across the top for most of the colours, because I want those like pastel-y, brighter shades, the like more neon shades, but I do still want the depth from further down in this palette. So packing this pink on the outer corner and also under the eye. This look is very much out of my comfort zone, because the 2 colours that I don't really like on myself are pink and blue. So I don't know what I'm going to do for look number 3. Like, I literally have no idea. But this is like me pushing myself out of my comfort zone and using the colours that I don't really enjoy on myself. But saying that, I do love the tones that we're going to be working with here, like the more pastel-y tones. That will make it feel more comfortable for me. So I am just packing this shade right onto the outer corner, because like I say, I think this is near enough as dark as I want to go for today. So I'm happy with that amount there. I'm not necessarily worrying about blending this, because I'll blend it with the other shades. I'm going to go in with a slightly fluffier brush, and let's go into Prism Bloom, this one next. And again, light layers. I'm going to use that to buff out the edges and start working this through the crease a little bit. There we go. So that is the Prism Bloom shade. And then I'm taking another fluffy brush into the next shade up again, which is Rain Blush. And this is a nice pastel, like very, very much a pastel pink, and I'm going to use that right over the edge of that pink. And then I'll go back in and like really intensify that Petal Prism right onto the lid again, so that it stays as intense as I would like it to be. So I'm basically just using the same row, just going up to get that blend, which is like how I probably will use this palette most, by just sort of staying in that row, staying in that sort of column rather, and like working my way around the shades to get the blends that I would like for each colour. So just going back in with that same smaller brush, back into Petal Prism, tapping some more of that pink on, and then just working my way back up, adding in all of those shades again, just to make sure everything is blended. I think I need just a tiny bit more of that Petal Prism shade sort of along the lash line. On this side, let's make it somewhat even. I actually don't know what I want to do on the lid, because I don't want to use a shimmer. I really want to try and create this look and look number 3. I really want to try and just use this palette, because that's the point. That's the point of these 3 looks with. Although, you know, in my real life, I am probably going to use this palette in conjunction with other palettes. I want to use it by itself if I can. So I'm putting those brushes down. I'm going to go in with a small brush into Rain Wash, which is the second blue. So I'm going to do Rain Wash and the lighter blue, which is Sky Passage, onto the inner corner, further into the eyelid. So I'm going to put this one into the crease. I might do a purple across the lid, because that's like what pink and blue would go like. And what else am I going to put on the lid? Because I really don't want a shimmer. I really want to try and not use a shimmer. So this is Rain Wash, that second blue. And I'm just using a light amount of this, because although this is the second lightest shade, I do feel like this is quite dark, like the blues lean quite dark. So I don't want this to take over everything else. That's why I'm using a very small brush. And then I'm just going back in with that same brush that I was using for that mid-tone pink. I'm not using any more colour, but just using that to blend over that edge where the Rain Wash shade is being laid down, and then going back in, adding a bit more. I want this to be very sort of soft and sort of cloud like, and I appreciate I've gone very heavy with that pink on the outer corner, but I feel like I've still got a vision, if I can call it that. I never know what I'm doing. Are you new here? I never know what I'm doing. I'm figuring this out as I go along, but I do enjoy the contrasting colours. Obviously you could do like green and blue and pink and purple, like the colours that are next to each other. I like going contrasty. I don't know, I find a lot of joy in the contrasting colours and like putting colours together that you wouldn't necessarily think of, because I don't know, I just like it. I just like it that way. I'm just building up small amounts at a time. That Rain Wash further into the crease. Just adding a really small amount at a time, because you can always add more. It's more difficult to take it away. Note to self. Not that I necessarily think that less is more. Clearly not. But lighter layers are easier to work with. Small amounts of product to blend, easier to work with. So I'm just wiping that brush off, and I'm going to go into Sky Passage, which is the brighter blue, and I'm going to use that over the top edge so that there's still lots of that blue. Further in, I need a little blend here. I'm not liking what's going on here. I feel like I need more pink there. Okay, so I really am trying to trust the process with this one. I think because I don't like blue and pink, I'm looking at this and I'm like, that looks awful. Subjectively, it doesn't, like, it's blending, it's fine. I just no. I'm not really loving how this is looking. So I am also just taking a little bit of the Spectrum base, which is the white, and I'm using that to try and lighten up this blue. I feel like maybe if this blue was a little bit lighter, potentially I might like it a little bit more. But I do feel like this is going to be one of these looks that's like, I'll probably like it when it all comes together. So I'm just packing with a big fluffy brush, but packing the Spectrum base, that white shade, because I brought that lightest blue, the Sky Passage, I brought that quite far down onto the inner corner, but I think that's maybe what's throwing me off. Yeah, like I already like that more with that white further in, to lighten that blue a little bit. I feel like it is coming together. I'm trying to just convince myself that this is the plan that I had in my head. It wasn't, but also I didn't have a plan in my head, so. Let's just figure it out. I'm gonna try and get this shade. It's this shade that's like in here that I don't know. It's user error. It's nothing to do with the palette. It's absolutely nothing to do with the palette. It's my ability to put colours together that I'm not, I don't know, something isn't right. And it's in here. I'm fully aware it's me. I'm not right. There are so many occasions in this makeup room when I'm filming where I'm like, I need that 3 hours later little sound clip. And this is one of them. It's two colours blended together. That's what it looks like. I've been here for a while. I've been here for a while. I'm still not completely happy with it, but honestly at this point, will I ever be? So I'm going to take this same small brush, and I think I'm just going to stick with... let's stick with Sky Passage, the light blue, and I will put that on the inner part of the lid, and then I'm thinking maybe a purple to blend into like this little area here. Just a little bit of purple might make me feel a bit better. You know what? I was thinking, oh, just stop filming now, take it off, start again. But that's not the point. That's not the point of my channel. That's not the point of me. That's not the point of what I'm trying to do here. It's okay if we don't like the look. It's okay if we don't like the blend. It's okay if we don't like how it turns out. The point is, I'm showing you the colour combinations. I'm showing you different ways that you can use this, because you might be looking at this and thinking that is exactly what I want in a palette, that's exactly what I want in a colour combination, that is exactly the sort of look that I want to do. I would question it, but you might think that this looks really nice. I don't. But I do think that that is more down to, I don't like pink and I don't like blue. So I'm glad that I have put them together to get them out of the way, because otherwise I would put pink with a colour that I do like and I still probably wouldn't like the look because I don't like pink, you know? So at least now I can say that I've used pink, I can say that I've used the blue, and it's done. And I don't have to use it for look number 3. So I'm just blending out the pink a little bit further, blowing it out a little bit more. The lightest pink that was Rain Blush, and I'm just going to stick with that same brush and go into Periwinkle Path, which is the lightest purple, and I very much enjoy this shade, very much love this shade. So I'm going to use that to blend the blue into the pink, and honestly at this point I think we can just call this look done. Do I like it now? Is it done? Yes. You know what? I probably will like this once I've got a blue glittery wing on. Because as much as I don't really like blue, I do enjoy a blue glittery wing. I do like that blue glittery wing from Made by Mitchell. So that will make me feel better about this whole thing. And that is absolutely fine. I will just put a little bit more Spectrum base further in, and then we are done. We are done. Let me go ahead and do a blue glittery wing, and then we're done for look number 2. And what am I going to do for look number 3? I don't know, but it's going to be better than this one. It better be anyway. It better be. I think I prefer it now. I still don't really think I love it. So, like I say, the liquid liner was the Made by Mitchell one. I did also put a bit of the Troublemaker Mischief eyeliner in the shade Curveball. I actually have an order to collect from a Superdrug, and I got all of the other shades of these. Because I'm really enjoying a colour in the waterline. I know, who am I? I'm going off topic again. I think I prefer it now, but like, I do feel like at this point we are, what's the polite way to say this? I want to say gilding a turd, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't know why. Maybe at some point in the future I will try it with the pink further in and the blue further out. Maybe it's the blue because it's not bright enough for me. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. There we go, a little bit of inspiration for you, and a little bit of inspiration to say it's okay if you don't always like the way that your makeup turns out, because you know what, it is 7:30 on a Friday evening. I am gonna go wash my face and make myself some pasta. It doesn't matter that I don't really like my makeup, and even if I wasn't washing this off immediately and going and making myself some pasta, it also doesn't matter because it's just silly coloured powder that we put across our eyeballs and our faces. So if we don't love it, that's fine. Can try again tomorrow. It does just wash off. It's fine. So there we go. Look number 2. The Arch of Colour. Not my most successful look. Not that it's bad, like I say, not that it's bad. I'm aware that it is not bad. You know, the colours are blending, the colours are very pretty. I just don't like them on me. So there we go, look number 2, and yeah, on to look number 3. Hopefully it's a little bit more successful than this one, because I don't know what I'm going to do currently, but let's wait and see for look number 3. Okie dokie, so look number 3, and I think what I want to do is, because I asked over on my Instagram, I've been stuck as to what to do for look number 3, and I think I am going to do sort of like a 4 looks, 4 palettes sort of a video, so that I can do some more looks with this palette, because honestly I just feel very, very inspired by it. But I asked over on my Instagram and I gave a few options, and the one that was voted the highest was a high contrast halo eye. So I think I want to do something more purpley, because I haven't used the purples yet, and I'm thinking purples with maybe some more of the yellows for like that contrast, with some more of the oranges, because obviously look number 1 had the oranges but it lent a bit more red, so I want to go like purple and like yellowy orange rather than the red orange, if that makes sense. But definitely more of like a halo eye sort of a shape. So I've already done all the rest of my face just so that I can blend freely with all of the colours that I'm going to use, and I have the Beaute Bay eyeshadow primer all over my lid. So I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm going to take the Cosmic Brushes CB4, and I'm going to start with the darkest purple that I'm going to use, which will be, let's do Iris Incline. And because I have done the rest of my face, I will be doing lots of light layers rather than anything too heavy straight off the bat. And I will pack this onto the very, very outer and the very, very inner corner. Oh, see, I didn't tap that brush off and now I've got follow in my eye. These are very, very pigmented colours, but you do need to either do your eyes before you do the rest of your face or tap the brush off, which I didn't do just then. So I will do that in future. I literally just said it, but I will actually do as I say, and I will put that under the eye as well. Like I say, I want this to be very rounded, so I am happily going to pack this on the outer corner under the eye while I'm here. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the amount of that purple being the darkest shade. I feel like that's fairly symmetrical. Honestly, the amount of times that I bog myself down in trying to make something very symmetrical, it's like, girl, your face isn't symmetrical, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna go in with a fluffier brush into, how do I want to do this? In fact, let's stick with this smaller brush actually, and I will just wipe it off on my leg. And I'm gonna go into Amethyst Ascent, which is the second purple down, so nearly the lightest one, and I'm going to use that to buff the edges of the darker purple so that the purple areas stay very purple. I was going to go into some more of the pinks, but I think I want to use more of the purples, but still with that smaller brush, so that I can be very, very precise about the blending. I do love a small brush. If you are struggling with blending, maybe you're just learning how to do eyeshadow, things like that, I highly recommend getting yourself some small brushes. Obviously I would recommend this set from Cosmic because I love them. I think at this point I have 3 of the same set because they're just perfect. Every one that comes in the set I really love, but this one in particular is my favourite, the CB4. If I could buy 7 of these, I absolutely would. I will also put that Amethyst Ascent shade along the rest of the lower lash line, smoke that out a little bit. So I have taken that Amethyst Ascent shade like lightly, but right up to the inner corner on the lower lash line as well, just to like really smoke out that lower lash line. So I've used that lighter purple basically around all of the darker purple. I'm going to go in with a fluffier brush and I will go into, let's go into Papaya Pulse, which I think I've used near enough every single time I've used this palette. I really love it, the like bright peachy shade, and I'm going to use that really lightly over the top, but also across the sort of gap, because I feel like this will blend nicely into the Lemon Lift shade that I want to put down the centre. Spoiler alert, that's the yellow that I want to use, but I do feel like this Papaya Pulse shade, because it's so bright, I do feel like it adds a really nice vibrancy to a look. Like I say, near enough every time I've used this palette I have incorporated this shade because it's just so beautiful. So I'm just buffing that basically over the edge of absolutely everything, like right around everything, lighter across the centre here, but over everything basically. So I have just gone back in with a little bit more of both of those purples, the darker purple and the lighter purple, just to really intensify those like further out. Let's go in with, what sort of brush do I want? I want something quite fluffy but still small. And let's go into, how do I want to do this? Let's go in with a little bit of Golden Span, which I do believe I used in my first look. that's ringing a bell, I can't remember. But it's more of like a mustardy yellow, and I'm gonna just use that lightly on the edges of that purple just to like start to incorporate a little bit of yellow. But I do want the main yellow to be Lemon Lift, because of course I do. That shade is incredible, especially as like an inner corner, and I may add it as an inner corner to like really intensify that yellow right on the inner corner. But I just want to start, I'm like holding on to all of my brushes at the same time. I want to start adding a bit of this yellow and like blending that into the purples that are already down. And then, should I just take this on my finger? You know what, I'm doing it. That colour is just incredible, honestly. It's so good. It is so, so good. And so pigmented. Okay. It needs a little blending, but I'm seeing the vision and I'm very much enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more than look number 2. Goodness me. I actually haven't. Oh, let me go off on a side quest in my brain again. It's taken me a very, very long time to film this 3 looks with. Usually I like to do like 3 days basically, and like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I try and get all 3 looks done within a few days. I think I filmed that first look like over 2 weeks ago. Definitely like a week ago. Because it's just taken me so long to figure out what I want to do, I suppose. Mainly because I just felt like I'd let myself down with that second look. I just really didn't enjoy it. I'm just going back in with a bit more amethyst scent, just to blend everything together. Yeah, I know you may think that that's silly, but like I really, really didn't enjoy how that second look came out. So then I was like, well, what's the point in even finishing the video? And that is so, so silly, because I absolutely loved look number 1 and I'm absolutely loving how look number 3 is going. So why would I scrap the whole thing? Because I didn't like how the second one went. When like that's the first look that I've really not enjoyed in such a long time, outside of an eyeshadow palette bingo, but like that doesn't really count. Yeah, isn't that silly? Tell me I'm silly. I shouldn't do that because I was just playing. I'm just playing now. Like if I don't like this look by the end, that's also fine. I need to get over myself basically, is what I'm saying. I need to not be silly. So I have just gone in with more of that Lemon Lift shade on that smaller brush, just to really intensify it like right on the lid. And I've also dragged that like up above the eyes a little bit. So it's like a proper sunset, sort of a sunrise, I suppose. A sunrise would be this colour. I don't see too many of them. But I think I'm happy. I think I like how this is looking. So I am going to add, am I going to add a wing? What am I thinking? What am I thinking here? Am I going to add a wing? No, I don't think I need a wing. I think I need a little bit more of that darkest purple, Iris Incline. I think I need a little bit more of that right on the inner and outer corner. I don't think I need a wing. I think I want to add some of that Lemon Lift right onto the inner corner, but I'm gonna just add some mascara. I got some more shades of the Troublemaker pencils, but I think I have the lilac one already up here, so I think I will go in with the lilac pencil from Troublemaker in the waterline. A load of mascara, a bit more of that yellow right onto the inner corner. I'll probably put down a white eyeshadow primer. And then we're duck for look number 3. Why do I keep saying that? I said that in another video earlier this week. Or was it earlier this video? I can't remember, honestly. Like I say, I started this video so long ago. Let me go ahead and do mascara, something on the inner corner, something in the waterline, and then we are done for look number 3. I am capable of using my words, who'd have thought it? So mascara is done, and I did add some of the white eyeshadow primer right onto the inner corner, tapped it out a little bit, and then I went in with Lemon Lift and First Light just to lighten it a tiny little bit for right on the inner corner. And then it's the Troublemaker Mischief eyeliner in Curveball that I have in the waterline, and we are done for my 3 looks with the Arch of Colour. I'd love to hear which look has been your favourite. I do think that if I had to pick a favourite, I just think it would have to be look number 1. Honestly, anything that has that bright green right on the inner corner, I am always going to feel very, very drawn to. This would come a close second. I do feel like purple and yellow together are becoming a favourite for me. I'm very, very much enjoying using them together. I was maybe planning on going a little bit more orangey with the yellows, but I do like that pop of that peachy shade that I put into this one. I would love to hear which one is your favourite. I would love to hear if you have this palette, what colour combinations you are enjoying together. And I don't know if I've actually mentioned this yet, but if you are in the UK, you can get Bella Beauty Bar on the Glisten Cosmetics website, and I do have an affiliate code with Glisten. It is Millie Davison. You can get 20% off, and I just really, really enjoy this palette. I do very, very much enjoy it. You've seen it a ton on my channel for a reason, because I think that obviously the quality is fantastic, but the colour combinations that you can come up with just in this palette. And also, you know what, I'm proud of myself for doing 2 matte looks as well. As much as I am a magpie and as much as I want sparkly things, I do very much enjoy an all matte look. So I would love to hear what you think of the 3 looks. I would love to hear if you have this palette, what colour combinations you are enjoying. If you've made it to the very, very end of this video, you are the MVP. Leave me a comment down below. What emoji should we pick for today? I know, as I'm filming this, it is about to be the solar eclipse. It's like 10 minutes away, so I'm gonna go out into my garden now. Leave me the sun or the moon emoji in the description if you have made it to the very, very end, so that I can thank you personally for spending so much of your day with me today. But that is everything for my 3 looks with the Arch of Colour, and I will be doing Pastel Garden. I will be doing 3 looks with that. I will be doing 3 looks with the Equanimity, and I will be doing 3 looks with the Sun from Cosmic Beauty. So if you want to see all of those videos, be sure to be subscribed so that you don't miss them. But that is everything for today. Thank you so much for spending so much of your day with me today. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.